How many times have you found yourself in that place, that exhausting, soul-crushing place of trying to explain yourself to someone who has already decided not to hear you? How many times have you laid out your heart, your intentions, your reasons, meticulously, passionately, only to be met with a blank stare, a dismissive nod, or worse, a silence that screams you out, not worth the effort of understanding? Why do we fight so hard to be heard by people who have already passed judgment? We exhaust our energy, our peace, our very lifeblood, trying to win a case in a courtroom that has no judge, only a jury that has already delivered its verdict. You feel it in your gut, that desperate need to prove your worth, to defend your honor, to make them see you, the real you. But the more you talk, the more you explain, the more you plead, the weaker you feel. You are not losing an argument, you are losing yourself. You are pouring your most valuable resource, your life force, into a cracked vessel, and wondering why you always feel empty. This compulsive need for external validation, this belief that if you just find the right words, the perfect explanation, the undeniable logic, then you will finally be seen, finally be valued, finally be enough. That is the lie that is keeping you in chains. Today we break those chains. Today, I'm not here to tell you how to win the argument. I am here to tell you to leave the courtroom. I am here to tell you about a power so profound, so counterintuitive, that it will change the very fabric of your relationships, your career, and your own soul. It is the power of strategic silence. It is the wisdom to know when your words are seeds falling on fertile ground, and when they are pearls being cast before swine. We are going to learn how to reclaim the immense energy you've been wasting, protect your inner peace like a fortress, and in doing so, become magnetic in a way that frantic words never could. This isn't about giving up, it's about leveling up. This is the prophetic truth of spiritual warfare manifesting in our lives, a battle for your focus, your energy, and your God-given purpose. Let's be honest about the pain. Let's talk about that hollow ache in your chest after you've spent an hour on the phone explaining why you made a certain decision, only to have it thrown back in your face. Let's talk about the exhaustion of trying to prove your value to a woman who seems to be looking for reasons to disqualify you. The frustration of laying out a vision to friends or family who lack the capacity to see it. It is a lonely place to be. You feel unheard, unseen, and profoundly misunderstood. This feeling of being not enough drives you to overcompensate. You talk more, you try harder, you become a salesman for your own worth, and it drains you. Society tells us to communicate, to talk it out, but it fails to tell us a crucial truth. You cannot have a meeting of the minds with someone who is committed to misunderstanding you. You cannot build a connection with someone who is determined to remain disconnected. We do this because we are afraid of being abandoned, of being seen as inadequate. We mistakenly believe that the verdict of others determines our value. If she understands me, I am worthy. If he agrees with me, I am smart. If they approve of my path, I am successful. This is a flawed mindset, a spiritual sickness. Your value was established before you ever entered this world. It is not up for debate. It is not contingent on the approval of another human being. The battle you are fighting is not with them, it is with yourself. The war is against the part of you that believes you need their permission to be powerful. The enemy wants you worn down. He wants you distracted by meaningless fights, pouring your energy into convincing the unconvincible, so you have nothing left for your true mission. This is the spiritual warfare of the modern man. It's not always a dramatic clash with darkness. Sometimes it's the slow, quiet drain of your life force in pointless arguments and the desperate chase for validation. This is the turning point. This is where you reclaim your power. I'm going to introduce a concept that will feel foreign at first, but I promise you it is the key. Strategic silence. This is not the silence of weakness or passivity. It is not the silent treatment. It is an active, powerful, and decisive choice. Think of it as energy conservation for your soul. It is the conscious decision to stop participating in battles that are designed to drain you. It is the wisdom to say, "This conversation is not a productive use of my spirit." Strategic silence means not arguing with people who are committed to misunderstanding you. It means not defending your vision to those who will never see it. It means not explaining your worth to someone who is actively looking for reasons to devalue you. Let your actions be your argument. Let your peace be your proof. When you feel that familiar urge rising in your chest, that desperate need to make them understand, I want you to pause. Take a breath and ask yourself one question: is this ground fertile or is it stone? If it is stone, you walk away. You conserve your seed, you save your water, you don't get angry, you don't get bitter. You simply recognize that your energy is too precious to waste on barren ground. This is a profound act of self-respect. It is you telling the universe, and more importantly, telling yourself, my peace is more important than my need to be right. My energy is more valuable than their validation. This silence is not empty. It is full of power. It is full of the words you are not saying, the arguments you are not having, the energy you are not wasting. This is how you begin to fight the good fight, by choosing your battles wisely. You don't have to engage in every conflict you're invited to. So, what do you do with all this energy you have saved? This is where the transformation happens. This is where you go from being a man who seeks validation to a man who builds worlds. You take all that energy you were spending on fruitless arguments and you turn it inward. You begin to build your kingdom in silence. You get to work on your purpose, your mission, your calling, without an audience. You go to the gym not to post a selfie, but to forge discipline. You work on your business, not for the applause, but for the fulfillment of building something real. You read, you learn, you grow, you pray, not to impress others, but to edify your own spirit. The fulfillment must come from the work itself, from the alignment with your God-given purpose, not from the external recognition. This is where you become your own source of validation. You start journaling, not just about your frustrations, but about your victories, your insights, your growth. You learn to sit with your own emotions, to understand them, to process them, without needing someone else to come in and soothe you or tell you that you're okay. You become your own emotional anchor. You find your strength not in someone else's approval, but in your own resilience, in your connection to the divine. And then a strange and wonderful thing begins to happen. The paradox of human dynamics kicks in. When you stop chasing, you become magnetic. When you stop desperately trying to prove your worth becomes self-evident. Your silence and your self-assured focus create an aura of power and intrigue that 1,000 desperate words could never achieve. People are drawn to a man who has a center, a man who knows his own value, a man whose peace is not for sale. The woman who is questioning your every move now wonders what you're thinking. The friends who dismissed your vision now see it taking shape and want to be a part of it. Your energy is no longer scattered and needy. It is focused, powerful, and attractive. You didn't change their minds by talking more. You changed the entire dynamic by shifting your focus. You stopped fighting for a seat at their table and went and built your own. So let's bring it all home. Your peace is your most sacred possession. Your energy is your most valuable currency. Your focus is your greatest weapon. Stop giving it all away to people and situations that do not deserve it. The world is full of noise, full of people who will gladly drain you of your life force for their own amusement, or to feel better about their own lack of purpose. The enemy's plan is to wear you down in a war of attrition, to keep you so busy defending your own small patch of ground that you never advance toward your promised land. You were not created to live in a constant state of defense, justifying your existence. You were created to build, to create, to lead, to love, and to fulfill a divine purpose. You cannot do that if you are pouring your spirit into the barren ground of pointless arguments and the endless quest for external validation. The attack on Israel by Iran is a physical manifestation of a spiritual battle that has raged for millennia. It's a war of spiritual entities, a clash of purposes. In the same way, the attacks on your peace, your focus, and your identity are not random. They are a spiritual battle for your destiny. The enemy is trying to distract and defile you to keep you from your purpose. So tonight, I challenge you, the next time you feel that urge, that deep, gut-wrenching need to explain, to defend, to argue, to plead to be understood, stop. Take a breath, reclaim your power, and choose silence. Choose your peace. Choose yourself. Choose to walk away from the courtroom and go back to building your kingdom. Go build your life with such focus, such integrity, and such passion that your actions become the only explanation necessary. The right people, the ones who are meant to be in your life, will hear your silence more loudly than your words ever could. They will see the kingdom you are building, and they will want to know the King.